Hi, this is Michael from Man Warrior Yoga. Today we've got something a little bit special organized, a little bit of a story organized. And this story goes out to one of our subscribers, and her mother. It goes out to Bethany, actually. So I'll tell a little bit of a story and follow along with the practice, follow along with the yoga practice. And we'll tell a story about a couple of characters I know, a couple of my friends, if you will, that were called Chester the cat and Courtney the cow. Now Chester the cat was a very curious cat, and he asked Courtney the cow, he said, Chester said, I feel like going to the zoo. What about you, Courtney? And Courtney said, what a great idea. So Chester and Courtney set off. Originally, they started off on their bikes, and they were pedaling on their bikes. Standing and pushing, they were pedaling quite quickly at this point. But then eventually, they got to the bottom of a mountain. And from that mountain, there were waterfalls pouring down the mountain. The mountain was so tall, but the waterfalls would still stream down. And the water kept pouring down. And Chester and Courtney decided that they had to leave their bikes behind and run up the mountain. It's the only way to make it. It was too slippery on the bikes. So they ran, and they ran, and they ran. And eventually, they made it through to a river on the other side of the mountain. So from the river, they hopped into a sailing boat to cruise across the river. So they sailed, and they sailed, slowly making their way across. And as they sailed, their boat began to get a little bit rocky, and the waves picked up. And it was getting slightly rough on our boat. And Courtney was very worried that Chester might fall in the water. Because you know cats don't like water. So Courtney and Chester held each other tight and continued on their journey. And eventually, they looked into the water and they saw a turtle swimming along through the water. And I'm pretty sure they saw a mermaid as well. And they were very excited by that. But then the weather started getting rougher and rougher. And the palm trees started to sway back and forth. And the weather was getting rough. And they were getting scared because they thought they even saw a shark in the water. They kept cruising in their boat, even though the weather was rough and the ship was bouncing on the waves. They kept cruising on the boat. And eventually they made it to shore. They got off the boat and arrived at the zoo. They walked into the zoo, and what's the first animal they saw? A giraffe with its long neck and long legs eating leaves off the trees. They turned the opposite direction. The next thing they saw was a flamingo standing on one leg. And then they walked past the monkey, who was very cute in his cage. He was having a great old time. But next door, they encountered a penguin. And the penguin, boy was he having fun. He would jump and play and have a great old time. So Chester and Courtney wanted to build a bridge to get in with the penguin to play with him and have lots of fun. but they couldn't find a way in. So instead, they enjoyed watching the penguins slide down and slide in, splashing into the water and having a fantastic time. By this time, it was getting pretty late. So Chester and Courtney were also getting hungry. Chester said, "I feel like something to eat." Courtney said, "What a great idea." Chester said, "What shall we have?" And Courtney said, "I'm not sure. Let's sit down and think about it." So they found a bench and they had a seat. They sat and thought, what shall we eat? What shall we eat? And they decided to reach into their backpack and have a banana. And that banana was so delicious that they had a second. And it filled their bellies and made them feel good. But by this time, it was starting to get a little bit late. And the sun started to go down. So instead of racing home, they unpacked their tent and pitched it in the zoo so they had somewhere to slowly lie down. And they built sand angels, and then gently and slowly they fell asleep in the zoo. Thanks guys for watching. That's my story of the cat and the cow when they went to the zoo. If you like this, send it on. If I had an opportunity to do yoga when I was a kid, maybe I'd be a better adjusted adult now. But any opportunity, have a little bit of fun with it. It's good fun. Make sure you share, comment, like, enjoy. Send it to whoever you need to send it to. But once again, keep doing it. Keep a smile on your face. Keep enjoying it, and keep up the fantastic work. Until I see you on the mat next time. Bye, Bethany. Take care.